Hey guys, Jay here. This is smarthelping.com. What I wanted to talk about today was a general structure of how I plan these startup models in general. I'm going to go over just an example scenario, but what I'm about to show you is fairly indicative of how all the financial models at Smart Helping work. So, and what I want to specifically focus on today is the working capital requirements on initial launch. And that goes into a lot of why I've built the startup models the way I've done, because after building this for so many different clients, I figured out, the most asked for structure is the one I've done for all the models. And so that's what I've used over time. So let's just start filling this out. So company name, not matter, launch year, let's say it's 2024. Okay, and exit, we'll just run it for the full, this is a 10-year model, so we'll run it to the end. Terminal value, sure, that's not really what we're worried about. Um, doesn't matter. Debt, that will be relevant. So we got our general timing assumptions. Let's go. This is a laundromat model, so here I've got some assumptions for uh, purchases of the electric washers and dryers. Let's just say we're gonna purchase them all um, on the first month of the forecast, and let's just say we're gonna do 10 of each. Cost, just putting in random numbers here. And then here's where in this model the timing comes into play. So you notice how we have the launch year here and the launch date. This date you never will change. You're only adjusting cells in yellow across any model that I've built. And that is going to drive the start month, but the actual month that revenue starts is going to be dependent on two factors in this case: the month of purchase and potentially the seasonality. So if you know, let's say you wanted to plan out the CapEx in January, so you spend there, but in year one, you actually don't start using these until, let's say, May, and you get out of the maximum potential uses of the machines per day, let's just say it's 50% for the rest of the year. So in this model, you can dynamically adjust revenue based on that and or the purchase of these. So if you were going to purchase these and you've got a couple months of development or what have you, you can account for that with the seasonality. And this one specifically has seasonality for each year, so you can adjust it that way. Usually in most of the models, it's not so as complex as this. Usually it's just you have a start month when, let's say if it's a SaaS model, you'll have a start month for when users start subscribing or when you start having traffic and conversions. And the whole point of this is, let's say we have this set up here. Let's just fill out some more of these so we'll see the numbers in the pro forma. Let's say max hours available per month. Let's say you're open 12 hours a day, 30 days a month. Okay, just again, these are just random numbers. And actually, to make this easier, let's just do one. That's actually more simplified. Average time per use, let's say 4 minutes. And useful life, this is just depreciation, we'll just say 7 years. Uh, we could fill out other costs, CapEx costs here if we needed to. We could fill out other startup costs here. Let's say if you wanted to do a website before launch, consulting fees, something like that. Uh, Now here's the other important part, your running costs. So this is going to be part of your uh, working capital. And let's just put some cost for these variable cost per month per machine. So let's say you have rent for the building if you didn't purchase a building, some workers, licenses, all these different things. We can determine start months for them and then their cost over time. And the whole point of all this is to get to the point where you can say, okay, let's go to the monthly detail. And now I can see what does my cash flow look like based on all of this. So here you can see some startup costs happening, purchases of the machine, and then we have some burn here because what are we running? Some OpEx before revenue. So here revenue is not starting until May, even though we've purchased the machines in January. Now you could also, you could fill out seasonality here, whatever it might be, so you have it for every month. And then here you might not start the first machine purchase until, let's say, August. Okay, so then if we go back over to the monthly detail, now you can see revenue's not starting until August, but we have this period here, this working capital period for the first few months while you're getting up and operating, and that's to allow you to account for potential working capital needs. Now, sometimes there might just be 1 month delay, like you might just want to plan for, okay, I've got enough, you want to be able to have enough cash to cover 1 month worth of full OpEx, and then revenue starts the next month, and that'll give you essentially a 1 month buffer where, and it'll flow. In all this, the whole point of this is this all flows to cash flow. So that negative burn of operations is going to be part of what makes up your minimum equity required, which in this case is 45,000. And so that's all dynamic based on these costs, the timing of when those costs happen, when the purchases of these machines happen in this case, and when revenue starts and how much based on the seasonality here. And we can also say, well, if we wanted to borrow $20,000 of debt or take out a loan, and on the loan date could also be dynamic. So let's say we do that in February. Now, if we go back over to the monthly detail, you can see that loan amount happening here. Well, it's happening in February. We're saying we get the proceeds in January, and debt service will start here. You can see, oh, I got to fill out the terms. Let's say it's a 20-year term, 5% interest. And you can see now debt service will begin in the following month as another expense. But then this cash in will offset the cumulative cash required. And you can see now, instead of needing 40 some thousand, we only need 25,000. We zero that out, it goes back up to 45. So that general structure applies to essentially every single model you'll see on smarthelping.com. There's always going to be a launch year and then a separate configuration for when revenue starts, which will always it'll either be in a global control, it'll be at like a start month of revenue or start month of operation, or it'll be in the revenue assumptions where you have a start month, and that will define, the timing of things, which is very important. And I think it's super important in these models to have fiscal years and have actual time dates here, not just a 5 year month 1 through 60 or 120 months, and not even thinking about the dates, because this forces you to plan and think about when things are happening and the resulting cash. It's not going to be perfect because you never know, but you can plan pretty good. Like if you know, well, we're not going to be able to get up and running till X date, but we're going to have, say property taxes or rent or something happening for a couple months before, well, that's going to affect your initial startup cost requirement, which is what we're trying to solve for in all these models, is how much equity is required and what's the return on that investment, which obviously we have all those calculations in other tabs here. You don't see an income statement, balance sheet, all this stuff is all dynamic, cash flow statement. So I thought I'd do a video because this applies to essentially all the startup models. If you want to go over to these, you can see, well, the best place is the financial models tab. So like all of these models have this logic. All these SaaS models have what I just described, or the general structure. The real estate models, some of the real estate models are a little bit different because they're just looking at cash flow. But most do still, and you can see like, let's look at the mobile home park. If you look at the screenshots on here, you can see there's unique configurations. I don't know if you can actually see this. Let me see. Oh yeah, I think you can. So there's actually configuration for each mobile home park, like the timing within it and when it starts, and that'll all affect the cash flow timing of that by month. But some of them, uh, actually, I'm trying to think if any of them don't have a timing assumption in it for offsetting. Oh, I guess the multifamily, this one that's annual only, I believe that one just starts right off in year one. There's no offset for, yeah, that just starts year one based on initial rent roll. So that's one that doesn't have an offset, and it only has annual periods, not monthly. But most of these other ones are monthly. All these industry-specific startup models work like this. They all have monthly and annual. Um, and then these are just different calculate. These aren't startup models. These are other things here. So you remember you can get everything I've ever built on the Finished Models tab at the top. Click on Learn More, and you can buy everything I've built for $9.99. There's over 150 templates here, or you could buy individually. I added a couple tabs on the right here. You can see the All Template Bundles tab now has all the bundles on the site because there's a bunch of niche bundles I have built. There's also bundles that have specific things like models that have data tables, models that have bear case and bull scenario planning, and these bundles will have greater discounts than the regular discounts. The regular discounts that are built into the cart are simply, 3 to 9 templates are 30% off, 10 to 19 are 40, 20 or more are 50% off. These pre-built bundles are all like 70 to 90% off. So you get bigger discounts by purchasing these, and obviously buying the all the models on the site is, I think, what was it, down to about $6 a template if you do that or less, because I'm continually adding to that. And you just buy this once and you get access forever to all the templates. Alrighty, well, I will see you guys on the next one. Like the video, subscribe, and we'll keep on pumping out new financial models.